Hey there, it's me, Brian Nesline with TeachSelfAwareness.com. Welcome to this Pick a Card Oracle Card reading video. You're going to get a tarot card, Oracle card type reading for free. You're going to get to pick a card, and when you pick a card in this video, you're going to get spiritual growth, your spiritual guidance. It's spiritual tips for your spiritual trip. Now, remember, if you're here, this is for you. And after you listen to your reading, go ahead and comment about it. The more you write about these things, the bigger they get in your own consciousness and the more they reflect back in your own personal life. Let's go ahead and get started on this Pick a Card video. So go ahead and take a deep breath, get calm, clear your mind, and then decide which deck you're drawn to. Is it for 1, 2, or 3? Timestamps will be in the description below, and you can go right to your reading. Okay, so your reading here and now is coming out of this deck. Let's look. Oh yeah, the Lover's card. What a beautiful card. Check it out. What are we looking at here? Several messages. First, let's go on the spiritual level of this. Let's go way up high and realize that the white light, God, source, universe, this one energy, electricity, vibrations, frequency, this white light energy, this God, this paramount producer is what animates the world. Think about it. The white light is what is behind all of the rainbow of colors. When you look into the sky and you see the rainbow, you're seeing white light. You're seeing the colors because they're vibrating at different frequencies. Our sounds, our sound waves are at different frequencies. Our emotional expression is at a different frequency. So the Lover's card is here to remind us that our energy, that our emotional expressions are as important as the words we use. You ever hear that thing that talks about that your words are not speaking as loud as your actions? Well, in the same way, our emotional nature is screaming to creation around us. It is truly the love that we are emitting as we go about our day. We want to make sure that we are balanced with our emotional nature, our emotional body. That's what this represents right here. In order to really put a loving experience into the world, to bring that white light energy on the vibration of love, unconditional love and acceptance of other people, their differences, their idiosyncrasies, the little nuances that make them them. In order to bring that in, we must have a solid control of our emotions. We must recognize how to ride the wave of love. You want to be able to get in touch with your innermost feelings, that energy that's animating you. Now, you can really sense it when there's a lot of volatility going on, right? Fear, panic, worry, those things are strong push explosions of emotional power. You know that if we just, sometimes turn on the news and the news is reporting information and that information is disturbing because we maybe see it as negative, because it's about some type of tragedy or some type of disease or some type of virus, whatever. That information that comes into our eye-to-eye vision, into our conscious space, see all the stars up here? That information comes in, and when it does, it is a dynamic movement of our light. All of these triangles here, all of that is the bouncing around of the information in our mindset. And as that happens, it bounces around and plays on the piano keys of our emotions. Bum, ba, 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 boom. When it's a fearful idea, when it's a scary, worrisome thought, it can really lead to that loud musical explosion of panic and fear. So these big emotional expressions elicited by the information around us is usually something that causes us to think and act out of reaction, out of control. And we want to really get into this better zone of being the lovers of life, the lovers who are able to really be above and beyond, or have all this extra space, all this white light space, all this heart pumping space to weather all of those emotional punches that are elicited, again, from the information in the world. So, the card is really here to let you know that it's time to balance your energy and your thoughts, your energy and your expression, your energy, your emotional energy, and your conscious clarity. These two things need to be in balance so that we can really put the wings upon the words and the descriptions that we want to project into the world, that we want to plant as seeds in the world. Now, the Lovers is all about conception. An immaculate conception occurs inside of you whenever you imagine and think about the things that you want to see reflected back in your life. You use your divine masculine, the words, the images, the blueprint descriptions of what you're hoping for. You're mapping it out. You're mapping out the stars and creating structure for the light. See it here? Structure for the light to embody those thoughts, those words, those descriptions. And then that light, the divine feminine, meets it equally, and then those two have a baby called your personal experiences, your love, the things you're focused on that you describe with interest and emotion. You bring those two together, boom, and that becomes your personal rose garden, or thorny thorns, ouch. So, the Lover's card is here to show you that it's a time to bring emotional balance into your life. And you can do that through meditation. You can do that through deep breathing, holding your breath in a little extra long. It's going to blow up your conscious space like a big balloon. And as you exhale, that conscious space that you just expanded stays out here. And the emotions can't quite go as high or fill it up to cloud your thinking. You get a nice starry-eyed, starry mind point of view, state of consciousness, so that the light can come in. The other thing we see here are these red and greens. Why? Because the red and green are complementary opposite colors. They work together as opposites, which is good. They're not battling each other. They are representing the divine masculine and the divine feminine working together inside of you to give wings to the loving thoughts and ideas that you are holding on faith. So, to make it really practical, if you want to see a relationship have a certain attribute, go into your conscious space, imagine what it looks like up here, up above first. This looks like, let's say in your relationship you want to have these interactions where things just flow really well. Like, oh, I'm in the kitchen and I say hello to her and she says, hey, I'm so glad to see you. And there's this emotional feeling of connectiveness and gentle ease. There's not a walking on eggshells. No, it feels like we're floating around together in the kitchen. Wow, what a great experience we're having. I'm describing it with my imagination space, the land where all the stars are, the anything is possible energy is, the anything I can imagine and describe can then become a placeholder, a structure. See it? A structure for the light to bounce around and to build that experience. And then, as I let go of that little daydream, that little conscious prayer, that little imagination space imprint, as I let go of that and just move on and trust that the light will do its work. It will give wings to the thing that I just conceived, the Immaculate Conception that I conceived, the lovers, the divine masculine words, the divine feminine energy. They copulate and they create the fragrance of my prayer, my outlined data. That is what faith is. It's the assurance of what we're hoping for, of what we're describing. It's the very structure, the petals of those roses, and that green growth that expands and multiplies. Look at it, it's a big, huge bunch of roses now. That little thought and idea that I outlined and imagined and felt up here and then let go of, that's going to go out into the world and come back as relationship experiences. So all of a sudden I'll notice I'll be in the kitchen, I'll be sharing. She'll be speaking in a way that is easy and comfortable. We'll be clicking. I'll remember that I made that happen up here first, saw it up here first, created in heaven, and then down in personal life on earth. So, the lovers, that's your reading. So goody good. Create responsibly, think responsibly, think in a way that allows you to fulfill your wishes. Get calm, get over the emotional disturbances so that you can bring into play your true heart's desires. That's your reading. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. It's important that you do that so that you can get notified of new videos. Go ahead and select the bell, change it so that it moves from occasionally getting videos to be notified of every video. Share this video. Comment about this video. Write about it. If you write about what is hitting you, then that stuff will expand. If you write about it, meaning if you use words and descriptions to describe it and express it, then it will blossom and grow in a bigger way. The things you're looking for will come to you before you know it, on a day like today. That's all. Take care. Well, your reading is coming out of this deck of cards. Wonder what it's going to be. Ooh, it feels so rich with energy. It feels so bright. All the chakras ignited. This is a lot of alignment this deck of cards brings. And what specific alignment are we looking for what you were drawn to? Oh my God, are you kidding me? Look at this white wolf that is overlooking you and yourself. The white wolf, spiritual guide, the higher realms. And here you are, your spiritual being, your higher self, with the little baby, the you, in the world. So this is really, first of all, about the order of relationships spiritually and mortally. You want to know that this whole reality that we're living in is just a little earth. It's tiny like the little baby. It's immature. It's duality. It's a little kindergarten. That's what the baby represents. And it's our personal self, our physical body, our personal circumstances, the data of our life, born in a certain place, grew up in a certain place, had A, B, C, and D happen to you throughout your life. All the little details, the little book, the tiny little baby book of you. But there's another you that is bigger than that your mortal self is encapsulated in. Look, you can see the baby is hidden inside this beautiful spiritual self of you. We know it's a spiritual self because look, she got the butterfly wings. She has got the little pointy ears, meaning she is a fantasy being and non-material being. Not fantasy like not real, fantasy like beyond reality, beyond the mortal reality, the physical reality of sight and sound, beyond the news, beyond what? Beyond cars driving around you, beyond supermarket shopping, beyond finances, beyond all of the little day-to-day stuff that are played out in this world, beyond the pages of our life book here on earth. She is truly the butterfly that came from the caterpillar of your limited self. So look, we all have a self that comes into the world and gets information given to it. That's the baby. We teach it how, it's taught how to, what's right and wrong, what's up and down, what's left and right. It teaches it words, that's a car, that's a ball, that's a tree. Don't put your fingers into the electrical socket, ouch, right? It gets data fed to it, the little baby. And the baby can only eat that kind of stuff. It can only eat basic logic stuff in the world. And it learns to separate everything from everything else. It learns to say, well, that's a tree and that's a car, and actually that's a good tree and that's a bad car. Oh, that's a better car. It learns to form value judgments, duality, good versus evil, on all the things it learns. That's baby life. So this is showing you that you are aware of or are becoming even more blossomed to the bigger picture. So you grow out of the earth and you start to be reborn as this butterfly. The baby's the caterpillar. Caterpillars are meant to become butterflies. Mortal people, mortal kids are meant to grow and then become spiritually awake. Spiritually awake. That's what she represents. She is your spiritual higher self. Now it doesn't mean like you look like that. It's just a symbol, a spiritual metaphor. In the world of the spirit, it's about symbolism, metaphors. Words they're not really concrete like they are in our physical world. A tree is a tree is a tree in the physical world, but a fairy with wings is not a fairy with wings here in the physical world floating around. No, it's a metaphor to show you that you are a spiritual being and a human self combined. You are a human being and a spirit. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are this double thing, this double creature, this double feature, really. And you get both worlds. Now, most people, they spend a lot of their time as the baby, as grown-up adults. As grown-up babies, I mean. Like, as an adult, they're still a baby. They never get beyond the world of logic and reason. They're always, like, afraid that something's coming to get them in some way, or when they have a lot, they're like, oh no, it's going to go away. They're caught. But you're expanded from that, and we're supposed to grow out of that and blossom as the spiritual birth, the second birth. And the Bible, it says you're born first from a woman as a mortal, and as a mortal being, as a child. Then you're born again a second time as a spirit, born in spirit. So this is about really identifying with and adopting this identity as a spiritual being having a human experience. Look, it's bigger than the baby. Look, its wings are so big, they encompass both the earth and the upper realms, even above this creature, which we'll talk about in a moment. So it's time for you to know that you are not yourself. You are something greater than yourself. You are a spiritual consciousness. You are not the caterpillar, you are the butterfly. You must recognize this identity in order to really live in it and embody it and claim it. It is a very ethereal thing. Other people are not going to agree with you that it even exists. It's not about other people agreeing anymore. It's about you deciding, unsiding, deciding, choosing, being the chosen one, the choosing one, the one who chooses to be born again, to be born in spirit. Now, what's wonderful about this is, look at your wings are all purple. That means that these are born out of wisdom. All of the wise lessons you have learned as a mortal being have sprouted these wings, have sprouted your independence from other people. I mean, like, you've been burned in the past, so now you don't trust people the way you used to, which is good. We need to lose our dependency on people and things in this world. It doesn't mean we cast them out and never talk to them. It doesn't mean we never love again or never trust people. No, it means it's all for the best of our growth process when we look at it through that facet of the world is here as a learning tool, a learning space, a growing space, a wake-up place, to wake up spiritually. See, we had to get all the words and the images fed to us when we were little babies and little kids and adult children. We had to get logic fed to us so we could learn how to describe stuff. Once we learn how to describe stuff, we break away from our teachers, our parents, our mentors, and we learn to think for ourselves. then we use our words to describe the non-material being called our spirit. And that is when it all gets right and big and powerful, because now we know that our descriptions, our words, are what are creating the reflection down here in our reality. Now look, this next being up here, this white wolf that is overlooking you, it's overlooking our spiritual and mortal self. This would be considered as your unique spirit guide. Now, it doesn't mean a wolf is your spirit guide. It just means that there is a white wolf, there is a lone wolf, there is a one entity that is intelligent and communicating to you the white light, the white light. This is a representation, a symbolic placeholder to connect logically with the image of the white light, which is non-defined. See it all up here? So, you can go directly to the source, or you can go through this apparition, this metaphoric spiritual guide. Either way, make sure that you are getting all of those beautiful feathers, those feathers that are coming down. Those feathers are those angelic ideas, angelic inspirations, those new thoughts that are coming into your mind. Those are the things you want to clue in on. Those are the things you want to make sure that you are being a nurturing mother or steward of, to nurture those ideas and bring them into the world through yourself, through your mortal self. That's what's happening here. So this should instill a sense of security and confidence that you are being watched over by the light. That the light is not just an energy, but it's also going to take on some type of a form that you can imagine it to take on, so that you can feel comfort and safety by the protector of it. It allows you as a spiritual being to conjure up and define not just stuff in your own world, mortal world, but to imagine and define stuff in the God world of what the white light could be and mean for you. So it works on both sides. You are the bridge between the white light and the mortal world. So, whoa, I am protective. I am a protective spirit, and I reach out to all life with love and compassion. Your power is immense because it's backed by the one power that exists. As you continue to accept these concepts and ideas, this identity shift, and it is about a shift in your identity, in our identity. We all go through this if we want to go onward and upward beyond our little baby kindergarten life, beyond the little how much money I have or don't have, who loves me, who doesn't love me, what they said about me, what they didn't say about me, if I'm good enough, if I'm not good enough, am I going to get another job or not another job, or this or that, or blah, 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 blah. There's nothing wrong with all of that stuff, but it's just the little baby part of it. If you really want to make a big difference, you want to become the spiritual being, live as that person, that spiritual entity, and start to define what you're looking for in the relationship, in the job, in the world, what you want other people to see you as, how you want them to treat you. All up here first, all up there first. Then those wings, those wisdom wings will bleed down into the world. All of those ideas, all those feathers will be what we are experiencing. And just know you are protected the whole time through by God, source, or universe. See it encompassing it all. And look, the wolf is shaped like a C. That is a metaphor for Christianity. It is a metaphor. Doesn't mean that Christianity is what you should adopt. I'm just saying it is a placeholder for the Christ in you. The Christ, the consciousness, the C. The Christ, the consciousness, the awareness, that being that is alive, the being, the I-aming, the I am. So be and do with the I am up here first, and then see it come to pass. What a wonderful reading for you. I'm super excited that you made it to this level of reception. If this reading didn't make sense to you, watch and listen to it over and over until something starts to glow in your conscious revelations, until you start to have epiphanies or see some coincidences. Let it expand. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're not going to be seduced into thinking anything that you don't fully feel or truly believe. The world can't impress ideas upon you without your acceptance, without your invitation. So enjoy that. It was a pleasure to be able to deliver this message, to channel it right from the source to you. Subscribe to this channel. Be sure that you subscribe, because then you'll get videos when they come out. You have to move the bell when you subscribe that says, please notify me of all videos. Also, if you don't have a YouTube channel, just make one. It's free. Why wouldn't you want to make that? It makes it so easy. It's a suggestion. You don't have to do it, but do it. Also, comment about what you have had as an experience in this reading. If you talk about it, if you articulate it, if you comment it, other people will start to get clued in on that light that you're sharing. Your light will magnify. If more light you move through you and share into the world, the bigger all of that experience becomes for you. And that's what we're talking about. All right, take care. Well, if you picked this, then that's what you're going to get. And right here, the card that is for you, for here, for now. Oh, it's hard to hold on to things. Isn't that interesting? We are not always going to be given an answer in the moment. We might prepare ourselves and be ready and show up for things the way we think that they're going to be. We may have done our best to be able to put our best foot forward. And then even in that moment, we could experience a time where we just dropped the ball, as you saw with the card. This is all part of the reading. Now, why? What? Well, when that happens, you could freak out and think everything's ruined. Oh no, I gotta start over. I can't believe it. I'm such a this, I'm such a that. Overcritical because of that. Now, the message for you is that when these little spontaneous occurrences happen, you want to learn to go with the flow of them. You want to work with them. The world is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Information is occurring as a flow. You're riding along the river of this divine light, divine life, divine inspiration. As you continue to be open and okay with who you are, not worrying about other people, what they think of you, not being critical of yourself in a way that causes you to feel like crap, right? We're not saying you're doing that. We're just saying that these things are little things that come up that after a long time of practice and getting things set down, then all of a sudden there could be a shift. And when that shift happens, it can tend to ruin. We can let it ruin everything we've prepared for. So we're not going to do that. This message for you is about learning how to keep that composure under the spontaneous pressure that occurs when things just don't go your way in the moment or as you would have expected, or when they take you by surprise. Just like happened with me dropping the card. Now you can see that I found the way to ride the wave of allowing it to happen, going with it. When things around us shift and change, we want to shift and change with it and move along with it and see the good in it and try to ride on it and go for the bigger expression of love and light that we know is moving us day after day. Now watch. Now that all of that has been processed, look what I did with it, what I demonstrated in this reading for you. Instead of getting all broken down from that dropping of the card, instead of like restarting the video, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that. Why waste this beautiful moment of spontaneous, growing, organic life that we are one with? There isn't an enemy happening. Dropping the card is not an enemy. It is an opportunity for me to have expressed all of what we just did, because it's all part of the reading for you. So look, what I did was I went with the flow. I just demonstrated that for you in this reading. It's been modeled for you, and you can do that too. You're going to notice opportunities to do that. Now, the way to be really prepared for those moments is to be sure you're doing your breathing exercises, your emotionally centering exercises on a regular basis. That means pausing and breathing, going into your conscious awareness, being an observer, speaking less sometimes when others are being emotionally popcorn-like, when they're just popping off all sorts of stuff and you can feel all their emotions reacting in them. It means just like kicking back and observing and noticing. And as you notice strong emotions in others and strong words and strong expressions in others, as you just quietly listen and observe, then you're going to gain more and more and more of that space, that conscious wellness, that conscious currency, and conscious wealth that we need, that serenity bubble where nobody else can go, so that we can see through this orb of wellness, of timelessness, which allows us to then see how we can shift and change when little things in the world take us by surprise. Now watch, I'm going to go pick that card up, or am I? I'm not. Now I was just about to, but then I got that spiritual message in my consciousness that said, don't pick that card up. Instead, draw this one. Oh, defense. So, see, when things pop up, surprisingly, we can go on the defense and start to jab, 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 jaggedy jab it and cut it all to pieces. Not literally, but we can do that with our words or with our reactions to others if they catch us by surprise. But instead, we want that mental, conscious, emotional, conscious currency. We want that gold, that whoa, go with the flow thing. You see this a lot with comedy improv people. In comedy improv, and I would suggest look up comedy improv and watch a few techniques on comedy improvisation. Comedy improv, they play off each other. One will say something, the other will be surprised by it, but not be paralyzed by it, not be stuck in it. They will go with the flow of it and allow it to come out. Comedy improv is an important thing, and that lets down our defenses. And instead, we are able to gallop our horses all forward and bright, go into the whole new land of that wealth, that light, that light. So that's your reading. Oh, I'm so glad you chose this. Let's just check and see if there's anything else here. Okay. What we're seeing here too is the horses. Now this red horse represents the material world. This is our foundation of circumstances in our life. And what it's saying is that the horse is a moving thing. So our circumstances are growing and changing and moving, and we want to side with that because we want that expansion. And again, if we defend or we get caught off guard and we freak out when change comes, then the expansion that's really leading us to new terrain, new things in our life, that expansion is stunted. You can see that it is an expansion space because the green ground represents the green heart chakra. This means our spiritual heart is expanding and expanding our world day by day. So we don't want to take defense when changes arise. Now, is there anything else here for you? There is. So the blue on this horse rider and the shield, this is about using the blue or throat chakra. Now that is about communication. So we want to, when we need to, we want to look back. You can see the figure is looking back. We want to look back into our recent past and consider any times where we really did freak out, where people did catch us off guard and we did react. And if we can just look and identify if there's anything there, just peek at it, just take a peek at it. You're shielded from it. Look, the shield means it's okay to look at the past. It's not going to hurt you because it's not here now. That's what the shield represents. It's the true defense. Time is the true defense. So you don't have to worry about anything from the past like catching up, but if we don't look at it, we can't amend it. So if you take a peek at the past where you have overreacted or you have been caught off guard, drop the card, and then decided to do all or nothing thinking and throw in the towel, you can go back and you can look at that and see what you could have done differently. Then you might even go back to that situation, that person, and you might amend it. Hey, I was wrong. If I could do it over, I wouldn't have just thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Instead, I would have realized that I was just embarrassed or caught off guard, or I just didn't know what to do, or I emotionally became disturbed. I dropped the card, I dropped the ball on that, and I got so flustered, or I just felt a certain way that I wasn't able to continue to reinvest all my energy. When we see stuff like this, I'll tell you, if you're ever writing an email or writing a document on your computer and you're all into it and it's flowing and you're doing great and you're like 80% into the work, and then all of a sudden your battery dies, or you accidentally hit a button and it erases it all and you can't get it back, and then you're like, oh, you're like, you know what, forget it. I'm not even going to bother to do it because it's too much work to go through it all again. That's what we're talking about. So we want to be able to get past those experiences, build the resilience so that we have that true defense, which is ability to be flexible and to continue to ride forward on that yellow. And that yellow rider going forward, there you are, is the gold, is the currency of conscious wealth. And it is also the joy of accepting that moment-to-moment reality is not against us and never could be. There's only one power, God, source, universe, happening in the world, and it's always happening for us, not to us. So that's your reading. I'm glad you were here. Now look, subscribe to this channel. Just make this channel a part of your life. Why? Because my job is to bring spiritual tips for your spiritual trip, to give you as much of a channel of wellness, of spiritual guidance that I can. So subscribe to the channel, select the bell, and you have to move the bell up so that it gives you all the videos, or else it'll just give you a few of them when they come out. And I'll be posting regularly. Please write about this reading. Write what you experienced, write what you heard, write what was important. If you express it with words in the comments or on posts that I do, if you express it and write about it, it'll grow and expand. It'll become more part of your horse ride, more a part of your expanded conscious wealth. So that's the end of this. I really appreciate you. Take care.